everyone. I am Dr. Shilpa Hindlekar, Assistant Professor at Government College of Arts, Science and Commerce at KEPME. Welcome to the program of Bachelor of Science, first year. The subject is Botany, Semester 2, and the course code is BOC 102, and the course title is Biodiversity to Vascular Plants. The title of the unit is Gymnosperms, and the name of the module is Sexual Reproduction of Netum. A brief outline of this module: we are going to study the reproductive organs, that is the male strobilus, the male flower, the female strobilus and the female flower, the structure of the ovule, the male and the female gametophyte, the pollination, next is fertilization, the embryo and the structure of the seed. The learning outcomes: at the end of this module, the student would be able to explain the process of reproduction in Netum. Coming to the module, Sexual Reproduction of Netum. The plants are dioecious and reproduction is sexual, wherein you will have the plants separately present. When you say dioecious, means the male and the female plant is different. The male and the female reproductive organs, they are called as flowers. These are the flowers what you can see that form the inflorescence. This is the one that is going to form the inflorescence, and they arise in the axil of the leaves. You can see they are arising in the axil of the leaves, and the inflorescence here is a compound strobili. So this is the inflorescence with a stout long axis. There is a stout long axis, and there are presence of flowers on towards the side. The bracts would fuse together. These are the bracts that fuse together and they form a cup-like structure. They form a cup-like structure, and this cup-like structure is called as the collar. It is called as the collar. So there are 10 to 25 collars which are occurring in each of the strobilus. In all the full strobilus, you will find 10 to 25 collars arising, and these collars are lying very close to each other. This is because of the suppression of internode. There is a suppression of internode, and because of this, they are very close to each other. These leaves usually fall off which are present here on the stem, and that is why the branches appear leafless. That is, the strobilus would appear leafless. There is no leaf present here because they fall off. The male strobilus normally has got 10 to 15. This is the male strobilus. This is the cupules. They are called as cupules, wherein you will have 10 to 15 cupules arising here. Below the collar are 3 to 4 rings, each ring bearing 25 to 30 male flowers. These are the flowers what you can see. That is the male flowers which are orange in color. So the young male strobilus is enclosed by basal bracts. These are the basal bracts, and they would come out of the cupule ring at maturity. When they come out, the anthers will be seen. There will be also a single ring of imperfect female flower with abortive ovules. So there is also a single ring of abortive ovules which are not functional, which will be present at the upper portions above the male flowers. Each male flower has got a stalk with 2 unilocular anthers. You can see here there are 2 unilocular anthers present within a sheath. This is the perianth what you can see. This is the perianth. So on maturation, this perianth is going to split. It is going to break open, and the stalk would come out, and then it would emerge out, elongate beyond the collars. So young microsporangia are present within this. That is, a microspores would be present enclosed in the anthers. This is the diagram what you can see here, wherein this is enclosed within the perianth like tissue, and inner to the perianth you will have the presence of microsporangia. This is the microsporangia, and inside the microsporangia you can see these rounded bodies. These are nothing but the microspores, wherein these anthers would dehisce, they would break open, and these microspores or the pollen grains are being released when they are matured. The female strobilus is also like that of the male strobilus. Here, in the young female strobilus, the flowers remain hidden. You can see here, the flowers remain hidden under the connate bracts. So it has got a stout central axis. This is the stout central axis with the presence of 2 bracts, and the collars are arranged one above the other. These are the collars what you can see. These are the collars which are arranged one above the other, bearing 4 to 10 flowers. There are 4 to 10 flowers. Okay, and these flowers appear as minute protuberances. And there is a presence of a single seed which is present, which is fertile. So, the female flower is a singly shortly stalked, or a sessile ovule is present. There is a sessile ovule which is present. They show two types of ovules on development, wherein the smaller ovules would degenerate and they would may fall off, and only few ovules are going to mature into the seeds. So, rest all are going to degenerate. The upper few collars are usually devoid of ovules. You will not find the presence of ovules at the upper region. Coming to the structure of the ovule, it consists of nucellus. This is the nucellus portion, what you can see. It is surrounded by 3-layered envelope, which includes, wherein the outermost layer is called as the perianth. This is the outermost layer, or it is called as the outer envelope, or it is called as the perianth, which has got the presence of stomata present on the outside, and there is a narrow opening here, which is called as the outer, is called as the micropyle or the micropylar tube. The middle layer is the outer integument, and the third layer, the innermost layer, this is called as the inner integument, that prolongs above the ovule. It prolongs here about the ovule, and then it would give rise to a long micropylar canal, the style, wherein this is the one which would help in the entry of the microspore into the female gametophyte. So, this layer becomes brown and finally black on maturation, that is the inner integument. At the tip of the nucellus, you can see a pollen chamber present here, wherein the pollen grain, after its maturation, is going to come and settle here onto the pollen chamber. So, a fully mature ovule shows an orange-red outer envelope with a hard rigid middle layer. There is a hard middle rigid layer here, and a black inner layer which would break down on drying. Both the perianth and the middle layer are free from each other right from the base, while the inner layer is fused. You can see here the inner layer is fused, whereas these two layers are free from each other from the nucellus. The male gametophyte is also called as the pollen. It has a spiny thick exine. You can see here, this is the outermost layer, which is nothing but it is called as the exine, and there is a smooth intine. The innermost layer here is the intine. The microspores are formed. These pollen grains are formed by the reduction of the microspore mother cells, which are in the form of tetrads within the microsporangium. These microspores have the presence of a generative cell, a tube nucleus, and a prothallal cell. So, these are the three cells which are present, and it is called as a tetrad. The generative cell, this cell is going to form the male gametes. The female gamete or the functional megaspore exhibits free nuclear divisions and appear more or less ovoid. This is the ovoid structure of the female gametophyte. It has got 4 free nuclei in the center. In the center, you can see the presence of the nuclei which are present. These nuclei are later on going to develop or going to form the eggs. So, what happens is the vacuole develops in the center. You can see here within the female gametophyte, a vacuole develops, and because of this vacuole, the gametophyte appears elongate and it appears like an inverted flask, wherein one or more free nuclei enlarge. Although there are 4 nuclei which are present inside, out of this only one is going to enlarge. It is going to accumulate cytoplasm and round off, and these are identified as the eggs. And the basal portion is the endosperm. What you can see here, that is going to form the endosperm. Coming to the pollination, where the pollination occurs when there are about 252 nuclei in the female gametophyte. The microspore is a 3-nucleate structure consisting of the prothallal cell, which you already know, which I have already seen in the other slide, tube nucleus, and the generative cell during shedding. So, this microspore is being carried by wind. It is being carried by wind, and then it will go and come here towards the micropylar region wherein it is being caught by the pollination drop on the tip of the long micropylar tube of the inner integument. So here the pollen grain is going to come and it is being carried, it is being pushed inside because of the pollination drop which is present. The microspore is sucked. When the microspore comes here, it is being sucked inside because of the drying up of the drop which was present in the micropylar region. And this pollen grain is going to come and settle here into the pollen chamber. Then what happens is the exine ruptures and the intine protrudes in the form of pollen tube. The generative nucleus is going to divide to form two non-flagellate male cells or gametes. This large number of microspores then germinate inside the pollen chamber. Fertilization. Any nuclei of the female gametophyte at the micropylar end may fertilize. Although there are 4 nuclei which are present, only one is going to fuse with the microspore. During the process of fusion, the egg nucleus becomes conspicuous. It becomes large from its size. It becomes larger than 3 to 4 times. The 1 to 4 pollen tubes are seen in the female gametophyte. The pollen tube which is just close to the egg would pierce forcibly and reach near the embryo sac. The tube nucleus descends first and the generative cell later. The generative cell divides to form non-flagellate male cells of the sperms. And the wall of the pollen tube at the point of contact disorganizes, that is, it breaks open, and then the male gametes which are present inside the microspore, those are being released, and only one of the male gamete fuses with the egg to form the zygote. That is how the fertilization takes place. So here you can see these are the pollen tubes. Inside the pollen tubes we can see the presence of microspores which have entered after the pollination, and it has been dropped because of the pollination drop dries up and they are being forced into the pollen tube inside. Once they reach close, they will find the presence of the egg which is large. So that pollen tube which is in close contact with the egg is going to fuse with the egg. Okay, that is how the fertilization takes place. So after the fertilization, it results in the formation of a zygote. The zygote is formed where the male nuclei and the female nuclei, both of them would fuse together to form the zygote. The embryo or the young sporophyte, the zygote would divide into 2 cells, one as the embryo and the other is a suspensor. The suspensor grows towards the endosperm, and with increase in the embryonal mass, a few cells lying towards the primary suspensor tube, they would start elongating and forming the secondary suspensors. While the cells at the lowest end of the secondary suspensor, they are going to form the embryo proper. That is, the embryo is being formed from this secondary suspensors. The embryonal mass of cells assume the conical form, and the plumule which is situated centrally at its apex and cells on the either side of the plumule divide to form the cotyledons, 2 cotyledons. So here you can see it is dividing into the primary suspensor tube or the accessory embryo, and one side it would form the primary suspensor tube. Now here the radicle is present at the opposite side of the plumule. So here you can see the radicle which is going to form the root, and here you can see the plumule which are going to develop into the formation of the leaves. Besides this, there is also one more additional layer which is present here, which is called as the feeder. Now this feeder develops from the hypocotyledonary region, which is providing with vascular supply for the developing embryo. Since there is no food available, so the feeder is going to provide food to the growing embryo which remains inside the seed so that it could pass the food to the developing embryo initially. The structure of the seed is oval. It is slightly elongated and green to red in color. This is the seed structure, what you can see. Endosperm along with the embryo is protected by 3-layered envelope. The outermost layer will be fleshy. This is the outermost layer which is fleshy and it is free from base to apex. It is not fused. Whereas the middle layer is hard, protective, and the innermost layer is very thin walled, covering the endosperm. It is protecting the endosperm. Germination of the seed takes place after about 11 to 12 months of shedding. Once the seed is being shed, the germination takes place, and the roots along with the cap emerge first as into a taproot system. The two cotyledons soon come out, and the stem tip expands and develop a pair of plumular leaves. So now it is fully developed. But the feeder still remains inside the seed, and it would continue to absorb food from the endosperm till the second or the third pair of leaves develop in the seedling. So the feeder will remain inside the seed itself, so that it is going to provide nutrition to the growing embryo till the formation of the new leaves in the seedlings. These are the references which have been used for the preparation of this e-content. Thank you.